All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean bringing you another video du jour from very dark Beaumont, Texas. You can't see outside, but the lights are out. It is 5:45 and it's dark outside. Sucks. It's supposed to be cold, but it's hotter than shit outside. I don't know what's going on with the weather. It's crazy. But anyway, today's video du jour, Beast and Barbarians. Beast and Barbarian. Basically, this is a Savage World setting. If you are a Conan fan, if you are a Kull the Conqueror fan, if you are a hard fantasy with evil sorcerers and giant snakes and, gorillas that want to rip you from limb to limb, just like the picture, and Amazonian, fierce women who hate men, this is the game for you. If you want the chainmail bikini, this is the game for you. If you want the loincloth of doom, this is the game for you. It's produced by Gramel Studios. I hope I said that right. You can purchase this on DriveThruRPG, RPGnow.com. Studio 2 Publishing sells it, and I think there's a link from Pinnacle, I think. Retails for $24.99. You can get it in PDF. You can get it in a softback like what I have here. I ran across this accidentally. My favorite local game store had it. It's the Golden Edition. I think now it's just the regular edition. To be honest, I do not know the difference between the gold and or regular edition. I've only seen the Golden Edition. Maybe the art's a little bit different. The paper's nice. It's on like a matte, kind of glossy, semi-glossy paper. It's all black and white. There's no color. The art ranges from okay to pretty cool, actually. There's a generic fantasy chick, like thief type character, and the art's okay. And then some of the chapter headings have some very cool black and white art, like that. That's the guy on the cover, evidently. He doesn't look happy. Monsters of the Dominions. The art, it's passable. It's very much got that Conan feel. Warrior princesses, huge swords. There's a nice, more surreal kind of picture right there. Like I said, that's the one I wanted. That's, to me, is one of the cooler pictures in there. Ignore the bookmark. That's one of the cooler pictures in there. There's an Amazonian princess, or something of the like. The cool part about this book is it's laid out really well. The first 58 pages are nothing but fluff. Little region setting, tell you about the world, about the areas, the Dominion, all the different areas in there. You've got your free city, Gis, the free city of the alchemist, Askea, which is the Amazon island, and so you can have that Amazon princess to go with religion, technology. You got Hun type warriors. It's a little bit of everything. There's some of the races that you can play. Pretty diversified. I think it's well done. Let's see here. Umberto Pignatelli, if I'm saying his name correct. Character creation starts on page 54. This book is really all you need. This and a copy of Savage Worlds. It's all you need to play. A couple markers for bennies. You start out at seasoned, if I remember correctly. 20 experience points is a basic character, because everything in this world is trying to kill you. From plant life to the monsters. You saw the ape with the giant vampire fangs. It's not a nice place. You start at seasoned with 20 extra experience points. That's a basic character. There's all kinds of edges and hindrances in here. Some new armor. Nothing outlandishly crazy. The magic system is, they have what they call Lotus. I think it's Lotus Masters, and they do these Lotus things, and it gives them powers. So that's there. The magic goes more along the lines of like Thulsa Doom. You're not going to be slinging fire bolts around. Magic's a little more intricate than that and a little more involved, but it's very powerful. And when you're swinging giant swords and everything, you see a guy with in robes, as the old saying goes, geek the mage first. Definitely, very much so in this game. Very much of an Egyptian themed, or not themed, but an Egyptian type feel to some of the settings. It's a good book. It's a good setting if you want that over the top fantasy, bulging bronze body barbarians that swing giant swords, as you can see on the cover. I mean, they do a good job of depicting that. It's Beast and Barbarians. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. There's also a source book out called Jalazar, the City of Thieves. I do not have it. I do plan on picking it up one day, but I don't need it right now. We're about to start an impromptu campaign on Fantasy Grounds. A couple of the guys over the web that I've met over time. I've played in a couple pickup games, and we really had a lot of fun. We were very silly. I think they're on YouTube or on Twitch. I don't remember the guy's name. I just got off work, so pardon me if I'm a little goofy. But it's a good book, $24.95. You can get the PDF, I think, for just $20 off of Studio 2 or Drive-Thru. It's very well done. There's a couple typos in here. I think they're Italian or Spaniards. I'm not quite sure. I'll put a link to their website in the bottom down there. So if you like that over-the-top fantasy with loincloth barbarians and chainmail bikini Amazon women swinging big swords, this is a game for you. They do a really good job of setting the flavor. The world is very much got that feel of, I don't want to say it's overly oppressive, but it's pretty bad. I mean, it's not a nice place to live. I mean, if you've got money, you're okay. But let's face it, most adventurers don't have money. So magic, I said, is usually on the side of evil. There's gladiatorial pits. I mean, we have scorpions with human faces, so it's not a nice place. Some of the art is drop dead gorgeous, like this young lady. I mean, again, I keep going back to the art because I did this little rant in one of my other games, where I like consistent art. And, this one, all of the black and white art in the book follows pretty much a very dark, ominous, heavy, barbarian type theme. And then you get this very cartoonish art, which it takes me out of the game. And I don't like that. Other than that, that's my only quibble with this game. The rest of the art is pretty dark and foreboding, but yet tastefully done. I mean, this is a game that caters to the big-breasted women swinging swords. Sometimes they go with no armor. I mean, that's the game. So if that kind of thing offends you, then this is probably not the game for you. There's no erotic art in the book, but I mean, we do have scantily clad women and guys with bulging groins, shall we say. So again, like I said, if that kind of stuff offends you, then this is probably not the game for you. But this is a very dark and gritty game. Not quite as dark as Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but I'd say just a notch above that. Not as dark as Shadow of the Demon Lord, but not too far removed either. There's powers in the world that are at work, and everybody wants to be in control. The Amazon's got a thing to prove, and, the Barbarians are a dying breed, so to speak. And then, of course, the wildlife and the fauna and everything wants to be left alone, and man is encroaching on it. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this. I think it would make a very good campaign game if you like that hard fantasy. If you don't want the D&D type fantasy, you want something more like Conan fantasy, this is the game for you. Very much the old really bad fantasy movie Sword and the Sorcerer. This is the game. If you know that movie, it could have been a Beast and Barbarians adventure. I mean, so it's very much in that theme. Jalazar, City of Thieves. I've only read the blurbs on it, but it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's the City of Thieves, and anything can be had for a price. And it supposedly adds a couple new character classes and edges and hindrances for like thieves and rogue type characters, which is always good. You can't go wrong with that. So this is definitely a buy on my list. If you got that discerning gamer friend in your life or a loved one, and they're a fan of Savage Wars, even if they're not a fan of Savage Wars, there's some good source material in here. If you just want to, take a world setting and port it into D&D, make it a little darker, this would be a good one to do it. So that pretty much covers that. Again, I give it a B+. It would get an A if the art was consistent, and it would get an A+ if the spelling and the grammar were a little bit better. But it is translated, I think, from a foreign language. I'm almost positive on that. I'm not sure. I'll reach out to the guys at Gramel, and I always, whenever I do these videos, I send them to the publishers or to the developers of the game and say, hey, I did a video review for you. Feel free to comment or check it out, and a lot of times they share it, so it's been really cool. The guys over at The Dark Eye did that. I posted it on their Facebook page, and they were nice enough to send me the basic Kickstarter reward stuff. So I got a couple adventures in PDF. Everything was in PDF. I had bought the core book, so they sent me a bunch of PDFs of the stuff that was out, which was very cool. And I'm now in an online game with one of my good friends, Brian Isakoff. So very excited about that. Can't wait to play some more of The Dark Eye. But this is definitely worth your time if you are a Savage Worlds fan or a hard fantasy or a dark fantasy. This is a great game. I'd also recommend, even though I don't have it, picking up Jalazar, because I think it would be worth it just for the extra info that it would give you. So that's Gramel Publishing. Umberto Paganetti, if I've said his name correctly, $24.99. You can get it at Studio 2 or RPG Now or Drive-Thru RPG. Character creation starts on page 59. So the first 57 pages of the book is all setting, about the world and the environment and things like that. So it's very well done. But then we go to another game. Then I had this game before I had Beast and Barbarians. This is also from Gramel. This is Nemesis. And it's also Savage Worlds. It goes for $24.99. You can get it at Studio 2 Publishing. This is basically, if you want your sci-fi horror, this is the game. If you want a Savage World setting for sci-fi horror, and the easiest way to describe this is Cthulhu meets Space Marines. You get powered armor, as you can see in the picture. You get big guns. There is basically these chaotic powers, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's Cthulhu. They don't make any bones about trying to hide it. They give them funny names, but you know who it is. It's Cthulhu. I think this game was out first. There's all different kinds of settings, characters in here. They go into Universal credits. There's a planet called Ash, which is one of the big planets, and there's I think it's Belize or Baz. These are just, they give you some of the planets in there, and I mean, there's space travel, there's spaceships. There's a good Marine picture of a Marine in armor, but that's not even heavy armor. That's just some armor. There's better armor. Heavily armored guys. So it's almost cyberpunk meets Cthulhu tech meets Space Marines. You can have lion men. There's some racial things you can get for different character classes, character races. There is psionics a little bit. They touch on it. Core is one of the worlds that's being invaded by these space entities that are trying to take over. And we're talking giant monsters like the size of small moons that are attacking planets and sending down their spawn, or lack of a better word. But there's a nice picture of a heavy armor guy with a chain gun. So that's definitely got the feel of Warhammer 40K and various other game things. Let's see. This one is done by Andre Stoj, S-T-O-J. Again, I think it's another foreign translation. A lot of people worked on this. I think Paul Wade Wiggy had his hand in here. Yeah, Paul Wade Williams. That's really about the only name. Andy Slack for editing. Yeah, nothing major. There's a couple unknown artists in here. I don't think there's anybody super well known. Not to say that the art is pretty good. It does follow a central theme, whereas in Beast and Barbarians we kind of had some different art flavors. And here the art pretty much stays true. Whoever did all the spaceship art did a bang-up job, because some of those spaceships look really sharp. Book is laid out well. It's not very big. Again, it's a digest-sized, say about the same size as the Savage Worlds book. Basic typeset, nothing amazing. We're looking at about, there's no pages. There's no page count on here, so I can't even tell you. There's no pages. Can you believe that? Oh, there's page numbers, but then they just kind of disappear. So we're looking at about 170 pages. $24.99. The Galaxy Guide is $19.99, but we'll get into that one in a minute. The art in here, like I said, is pretty good. If you want that, hard sci-fi, you want to play it cyberpunk style, you can. There's pretty much information in there for playing it that way. Corporate espionage. You can play hard military. You create a squad. You guys, go to the planet service and you start, kicking ass and taking names. That's a nice piece of art right there. I mean, that definitely very much sets the mood. Really well done. They go into detail about some of the monsters and stuff. And we're talking giant-sized monsters. It reminds me a little bit of a sci-fi version of Armageddon by C.J. Carella and the guys over at Eden Studios back in the day. So when C.J. was running that whole line. So really well done. I didn't find too many typos in it. It's a nice book. It's very dark, and it's I don't know if it was a print on demand. I don't remember. I think I bought this at my local game store when I lived in Arizona. I've had it for quite a while. I've played it once or twice with good reception. It's Savage Worlds, so the rules are solid. The setting is what makes it. If you know how to run Savage Worlds, then you just slap a skin on and you play that genre. So, like I said, this is the Cthulhu meets Warhammer 40K, meets Cyberpunk is a good way to describe this. So you can play, that fast-talking face guy. You can play a combat monster, or you can just play some sort of psionic hacker or whatever. So very, very cool. If you like it, it's the Savage Worlds rules. So again, it's not hard to figure out. It does come with a pretty decent list of monsters and their abilities. So if you're going to play it that way, there's lots of things to do. There is a starting adventure in here, and there's some NPCs that are made. So it's usual. It's self-contained. This and the Savage Worlds core book is all you need. To give this a grade, I would give it a B-. I guess I'm going to start doing that for my videos. I think people like to kind of know a grading scale. It's a B- only because of presentation of the book. The pages are dark. If you try to photocopy that, if you need some information or you want to photocopy an NPC, that's going to come out like crap because of the way the book is printed. And I bought this off the shelf. This was not a print on demand. I bought this off the shelf, so I don't know why they went with this dark, and it's very matte. It's not glossy. Like I said, it reads okay. I didn't have a problem reading it. Some of the type that they went with this font to denote like short story fiction, I don't particularly care for, so that knocks it down because it's hard for a read. Now that may just be preference because of my eyes, and my eyes are terrible, and I know this. So the regular font that they use is decent. It's probably an 8-point font. It's printed out. It's legible. Like I said, just for whatever reason, I think that would be a very cool piece of art if you could see it. Problem is it's too dark. I know it's some sort of tentacle or something in the water and there's a helicopter, but it's so dark I can't pick out any of the details. And if I wanted to photocopy this, to use it as a presentation aid in a game, it's going to come out like crap. You're not going to be able to see that. And the whole book is like that. There's a couple pages that are a little bit lighter. There's a good one of some cybered up assassin. The different races. The races are based off, they're all pretty much human stock, but they come from different planets, and those racial stocks give you benefits. And you can be a bestial some legendary Homo Monstrum, which are basically tiger, lion, whatever, and there's hindrances and stuff. So yeah, if you like Cthulhu, if you like Warhammer 40k and you want to play it in a Savage World setting, this is the game. So they made that. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, that was the first one I had from them, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I was in my game store a couple months ago, and I saw this, Nemesis Galaxy, and I went, wow, it's a cool cover. It's from Gramel, and I like the other 2 books from Gramel that I have, so I'm going to pick it up. I didn't even flip through it. I said, oh, it's Gramel. It goes to Nemesis, and my players like Nemesis. I had ran a demo at Paper Heroes there in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and everybody was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. We play that again. So Kevin, the game store owner, he got it and said, hey, I thought you might be interested in this. I said, yeah, totally. And I bought it. I got it home, and I flipped through it, and I was extremely disappointed. This gets a D+. And the only reason I'm giving it that high of a mark is because of the name, Nemesis, because the setting is so solid. This is the Galaxy Guide, basically, to this book. So where they touch upon stuff in here, this goes into a little bit further detail. This is $20. And I bought this off the game shelf. This is how you buy it. It's not a print on demand that I'm aware of. But it is got a couple typos in it, and actually more than a couple. And the typeset and the paper background, it's like they chose a stark white for all the chapter pages, and then some sort of, you can see the lines there, like almost like lined, ruled paper from school, and the font is just horrible. It kind of bleeds a little bit. You probably can't see it from the video, but it's not fun to read. I mean, it bothers your eyes after a while. And then to make like a paragraph heading like Spartan racial traits, they italicize it and bold it in that same crappy font. And it's, and I don't even think it's a bad font, because I think it's the same font as in Nemesis. It seems slightly bigger, but on that background of that lined paper, it just looks horrible. The next step was the art. The other thing that just kills this book for me is, whereas Nemesis had really cool themed art and maintained that theme throughout most of the book, this is the kind of art we get for Core. Core is one of the core planets in the game, and it's like the center of, like, I don't want to say center of the galaxy, but it's a major planet. There's fighting going on there and all that stuff. But I mean, the art is just lackluster at best. I mean, look at that. Looks like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. And when we had all that awesome art that was in the first book, it's terrible. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, if they just ran out of money and they wanted to get this book out real quick. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their thinking was. If nothing else, I would have reused the art from Nemesis, or maybe there was a reason they couldn't. I don't know. But I mean, that's supposed to be some fauna in the local area or something. I mean, it's nasty. I mean, it's all black and white, like someone sketched it, like a sketchbook, And if that's the theme the book is going for, that's fine. Like a Volo's Guide to Monsters, it's kind of written in that way. But this is just, Dwellers in the Swamp. Look at that art. I think they would have done better to just get some stock art off the web, some royalty-free art, especially when you have that kind of art on the back cover, and then you have this art on the front cover, and then you open up the book, and that art is nowhere in the book. I read a little bit of this, and it's okay. It's not a bad read. It's just there's a couple typos in it. Makes it hard to read on that stark white paper with the font that they're using. It looks like it bleeds. And again, this may be my eyes, and just, I know I have bad eyes, and they're only getting worse as I get older. But D+, I'm sorry, $20, I expect more. Especially when you give me cool cover art like that. I don't know what they were thinking, but this is the information on the inside is good. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. The content is king. And that's the first reason to buy a book. But let's face it, we buy a book because of the cool art. And when I saw that, I just went, yoink, it's mine. I'm taking it. It was 20 bucks, you know, and then I started flipping through it. And when I got home and I tried to read it and it started, you know, I was going squirrely eyed. I was not impressed. And they just, poor layout presentation, guys. I mean, you put out this cool book, and again, the only thing that dings this from getting an A minus is you printed it too dark, and that may have been a goof up from the printer. I don't know, but this was a great book. And then you throw this out, and it's night and day. I mean, this is awesome. This is kind of crap. The content is good, but the presentation is literally crap. Sorry about that. I've got a thing to block the light from the lamp overhead. So that's my thoughts on Gramel. I think they put out good products. I like everything they've done so far. I'm not happy with the presentation of the Galaxy book, but the books themselves are nice. They're good quality. They hold up to use. I mean, I've played a couple times Beast and Barbarians, and I've played Nemesis, passing them around the table, everybody flipping through them. There's been no issues. Books aren't falling apart. They're not pages falling out. The glue binding's not falling apart. So quality-wise, they're well put together. I enjoyed the read. I enjoyed the books. I've had fun playing the games, and will continue to play them. In fact, I'm looking forward to the Beast and Barbarian game that's going to kick off here real soon. So just let me know what you think. If you feel the same, if you have the books, if you're interested in trying them out, you know, check them out there. I'll post a link to Gramel's website. It always helps when you buy them straight from the publisher. Puts more money in their pocket so they can keep producing decent, you know, stuff, and keep making cool games so we can keep playing them. And I do these videos to help promote them for the games that I like. You won't see too many videos of games I don't like because, well, that would be counterproductive. I may, you know, do a video on a game that I'm not exactly fond of, but there's something about it that I do like that Nemesis Galaxy. I don't like the book. I like the content that's inside of it, but I don't particularly care for the layout and the presentation and the quality of production of the book. But that's just me. Again, your mileage may vary, as the old saying goes. So let me know what you think. Give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. As always, it helps me. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Like I said, I'll try to send this over to the guys at Gramel, and I'll post a link on my Facebook and in all the other usual spots. And I hope everybody enjoys it. Peace and hair grease. If I can quit this thing. Hey.